Dr. Andrews' Psychology Secrets. Your individuation according to Carl Gustav Jung. Carl Jung defined individuation as the process of discovering one's full potential as a distinct and independent being and of becoming more self-aware. The process of integrating the conscious and unconscious components of your psyche, which are considered the entirety of the self, is known as individuation. It unites multiple facets of your personality into a single, harmonious whole. The self in Jung's theory means the wholeness of your psyche, but also your inner, unconscious subject that reacts to your conscious actions and is the emanation of the most important psychic archetype, the self-archetype. The symbolic emanations of the self-archetype are in many cases indistinguishable from the symbolic images of the idea of God. Jung considered the process of individuation to be an essential part of human development, and that this process is ongoing throughout your whole life. He also believed that this process is closely tied to the development of the psyche and the realization of your true identity. The ultimate goal of individuation is to achieve a state of wholeness, or integration, in which all aspects of your entire psychic system, or in this case the self, are united and in relative harmony, remembering that the human psyche is funded on the innate potential structure of opposites which in their extremes are unintegrable, like good evil, strong weak etc. The ultimate goal of individuation is not only the integration of the psychic system but also a very specific position or the way of functioning of your ego, stretched between all real or potential opposites. The individuation intensifies in the second part of your life when your ego is relatively well developed, shaped and with some sort of inner autonomy, for example for the forces of unconsciousness, drives, instincts, archetypes. Jung described several stages of individuation I would like to mention below. Every stage of this process is associated with a subjective experience of relative disintegration and following it reintegration on the next, higher level of psychic functionality. It's the process of moving towards greater integration and feeling of your psychological wholeness. In the first stage, when you as a child and then a young person takes place a gradual emergence and separation of your ego from the inborn matrix of your psyche, including a domain of the collective unconsciousness. In this stage, your ego develops and experiences a gradual differentiation of your individuality, from the oneness of your initial psychic substance, or from the indifferentiated soil of potentiality and unconsciousness to the emergent ego system. Along with your psychological development, when your ego is relatively developed and you are relatively well adapted to the requirements of the external world, you have a job, family, children, home etc. You gradually face different challenges related to two main areas of your psychic life, challenges initiating conscious contact with your shadow and challenges associated with meeting your life partner that brings to your life an unknown previously domain of your psyche, psychic life of the opposite sex. The shadow according to Jung is a part of the unconscious mind or a part you may consciously not accept as part of your psychic identity. Your shadow contains all aspects of yourself that are not accepted or even recognized yet by your ego. In this stage, you have to look then at your darker, often very unpleasant aspects and gradually integrate them within your psychic system. You need to face them, acknowledge them, confront them, take responsibility for them and finally integrate them within your conscious psychic life. When it comes to meeting your opposite sex psyche and the integration of your anima, if you are a man, or animus if you are a woman, You need to open yourself to those very distant psychic qualities brought into your life by your partner. You need to recognize them, embrace and integrate those psychological opposites within yourself, which requires also withdrawing your unconscious projections of your unconscious anima on the woman you share your life with. You need to recognize your internal unconscious feminine forms of attitudes typically associated with femininity aspects of your psyche that you projected in your relationships with your wife. The result of this integration of your opposites, your shadow and the opposite sex-related unconscious structures gradually shape your new psychic system, which is in the visual imaginary often symbolized by the archetypal images of wise old man, if you are a man, and great mother, if you are a woman. This stage of psychological development Jung called the stage the monopersonality, personality of special powers, which was in many cultures associated with the archetype of the mighty man. For example, the hero, the magician, the medicine man, the saint, the ruler of men and spirits or the friend of God. See, the monopersonality, in Jung, CW7. The mana you have in this stage comes from the psychic energy you have gained from withdrawing your projections from your partner and embracing this psychic energy in yourself. You have to be very careful now, because you probably may feel very potent and strong, and you may perceive yourself as some kind of a hero or as a godlike creature. See, danger of psychic inflation. If you don't get caught in these very potent symbols, in this power trip and seducing grandiose visions of yourself, you can experience the final stage of your development in Jungian terms. You can fulfill the ultimate point of integration of yourself. In this final stage, you have integrated all previously unconscious, unknown, often not accepted or even repressed and denied aspects of your psyche, and achieved the state of the psychic wholeness. You can experience here the visions of such symbolic figures like Jesus Christ or Buddha, which are the archetypal symbolic representations of the self-archetype. It's important to underline that the above-described stages are not necessarily linear, and every person may go through this process in different ways. You can move a few steps forward and then get stuck or move backwards. You may circulate around some lifelong topics or issues, or even you may not fulfill the final stage at all. Our lives only drift on the surface of this great, dark, deep ocean, and therefore our experience, integrations or transfigurations will always have necessarily very limited character. At the end of your transformation you will experience very special quality of your psychological wholeness, but it will be shaped within the realm of your own individual psyche. We will never experience the integrated wholeness of the collective psyche of billions of the psychic lives of the creatures that were following this path before you. Enjoy your journey. If you need advice, contact Dr. Andrew, dr.kuzmecki@gmail.com.